Good morning, students. Welcome back. What a great year we're going to have. Before we get started, though, let's talk about how we can make it a really great year. Who might have a suggestion of good school habits we can start with?
Here. I know. I got one. Yes, me.
Yes, Chris.
Forgot.
Okay, dear, but next time let's think before we speak.
But it was nice when you said my name. So guys, whatever that was, just unsee it. Or
I would love to be your teacher.
I know, you are in so many ways. Guys, we're going to jump into a very serious adult conversation around the habits that have helped our family, or at least the idea of the habits that could have helped our family.
Well,
not sure how good we were at
yeah. We always use the week or so before school started to kind of reset the button from sort of the summary holiday thing, which is so fun, to kind of like more intentionality around like, hey, we're going to bring our A game to home and to school.
So jumping right in, the first one we're going to talk about is quite literally a housekeeping item. It's assigning chores.
And assigning chores sounds ominous, but it actually is not. And if you build it into the routine of your family life, it's
assigning chores should never be ominous. It's the doing of them that's not so much fun. But no, you're totally right. It's about finding something that works for each kid.
Yeah, it's age appropriate that they can actually feel a sense of accomplishment doing, and it is clear when they should do that, so it's part of the schedule, and it reinforces ownership.
Part of the what?
Schedule. Sorry.
No.
Schedule. Sorry. And it reinforces ownership and responsibility. And also is fun. It becomes fun.
Having a schedule is bundles of fun. No, it's true. And we found that at every age our kids have been at, so the oldest are out of the house now, it's still important that everybody knows we count on each other to get stuff done.
And when the kids were little, we had very clear, it's your day to do this. But as they moved into the preteen and teenage years, we said, guys, we're a team now. Yeah. You know the basics. You know that the milk needs to go back in the fridge. The dishes need to be done. The floor needs to be swept. Let's all see, look, do.
Your turn to dust the cat. Yes. Great. Moving right along. Point number 2.
Yeah, it's quite similar, actually, to the first one, but it's building routines. A little bit different from the chore thing, but it's really important for the kids to feel that there's designated times and places for things to happen. And it creates a framework for a happy, functioning family.
And we found that it doesn't really matter whether we're talking about homework, whether we're talking about practicing sport if you're on a team, practicing your musical instrument if that's your thing, just carving out times. And I think with that whole idea of routine is also, as the kids get older and they have larger academic projects and things like that, just helping them strategize and plan so that it's not a big panic fest.
And when you've started those habits when they're smaller, it makes it easier when they're older to plan. And also, it's not just routines for the children, it's also routines for the parents and things to do as a family. And one of our favorite ways to end the day was to read aloud, especially when the kids were younger. But it doesn't matter whether it's, walking the dog together or if your family is musical and there's,
Sure. Just a few minutes of
whatever it
time.
is.
And also, your family was really large. You had a lot of kids. Your parents were intentional about finding alone time with each of you,
with each one of us, and they made that our good night time. So they made an effort to come and sit on the side of our beds and have a little chat.
So we'll get to that in in our last point. Then, but the point is that was part of your family's
part of the
routine.
Yep.
Cool. So what's our third point?
Eating together. And I know this is very challenging with with a variety of schedules and demands, but even if it's a snack, if you can eat together once a day, it's really important to sit down, put away distractions and devices, look each other in the eye, and just be present.
Yeah, and look, no judgment here. Families who can't manage that for whatever reason, do it when you can. But just, again, we're talking about habits, about intentionality, and we find even now that if we're not serious about saying, this is a family meal, we're all going to be here, it doesn't really matter what other distractions we could be going for, this is what we're going to do.
And when the kids we had 2 in high school at one time, and it was really full on. We had Friday Fire, and it's still a habit that we have now. So Friday Fire was obviously on Friday, and it kind of celebrated the week gone and welcomed the weekend. And now that the kids are out of the house, it's been a great habit to continue and invite other people too. But if you can't make that, during the week, pick a night that's kind of like a Taco Tuesday or whatever it is.
Sure. We did a whole video on the whole campfire experience, so you can check that out as well.
Campfiring is good.
Yeah, certainly any time that we can build something special, and that's just our family. It also gives our kids a sense of identity. This is something our family does, and it's a cool thing. So the final point we want to talk about is communication. It's an obvious one perhaps, but an important one. And I guess, some of the things that we found made special points of connection with our boys was, for instance, if I was traveling or if we were together on a trip, to leave them notes before we left, or hide things for them, just little I love yous, ways of communicating with them, let them know how proud we are of them.
Or if I know they're having a difficult day and they're going to get home before I do, I'll leave a note just saying, hey, proud of you for doing that. But all kids, of course, just like all adults, communicate in different ways. We have different love languages, so identify what that is for your child or children, and then use that to make sure that you're having those moments to really find time. And that's also when we set clear expectations, those are often or sometimes not met, and that's another opportunity to communicate, rebuild, reconnect.
Communication this way is really important too, because you
if
might
this
have
isn't happening,
but you might have a different read on how the kids are doing in this or that situation. So staying in touch. Nobody wants to be a helicopter parent, but we want to be present and certainly on the ball if they need us. And available to them to communicate.
And it's been really important for Chris and me to have those expectations outlined and clear in our own minds prior to talking about it with the kids, because then there's no confusion.
So I think some of the things within a family that often we can help teach our children to communicate about are just simple acts of forgiveness and kindness toward each other, modeling that for them, helping them when they have those issues that they need to address in their lives.
Yeah, and allowing the kids to see healthy communication. Also, when there's a difficulty or problem, we're sitting down, we're talking about it, we're working it through without huge displays of anger if possible. But in every family, there's disruptions, there's imperfections. I mean, that's what families are. So we need spade loads of grace toward each other, forgiveness toward each other. That's par for the course.
Another thing, you mentioned your parents and how they would come and sit on your bed and say goodnight to you. Bookending the day like that is something that's precious for us from when our kids were little. Just stroking their back and singing to them,
saying a prayer,
praying with them,
speaking a blessing.
Those sort of things as the day ends. And again, even as our sons have grown older, to really make sure that we know that they're going to bed, in as peaceful a place as possible. And that our home is a place of peace as night falls. That's really important.
Yeah, and I always felt my entire growing up life that my home was a really special place that I wanted to be. And I knew that if I ever had the opportunity to create a home for other small beings, I would want it to be a place that they would want to come home to the way my parents and I made it for me. And I know that we both speak from very, very fortunate circumstances. But in whatever circumstances you are, whatever you can strive for, it'll be amazing.
Sure, that's our encouragement, is that, no family's perfect. Ours certainly isn't. But if we set goals and are intentional about some of the habits that we take on board, particularly, at times when the seasons change, like right now, going back to a new school year, it all works out for the best. And you wrote a really beautiful piece on this subject for the Bruderhof Voices vlog a while back. So,
we'll pop the link down, and we've condensed it a little bit, but it's 7. I think I picked 7
you went as far as 7. We stuck with 4 for the day, so
Yeah, but have a read of that, and I've written some of what we talked about today.
So always good to connect with you. Thank you for everybody who's been contributing in the comments. Keep those coming. Let us know other topics you'd like to hear on. But you guys all stay safe and happy, and God bless.
Talk soon.